Okay, we're back. We're going to do another reveal. Now we're switching gears. We're going from DC to Marvel, and we're doing the one that at least I knew that was coming out, but she hasn't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything.
So this is Doctor Strange.
Been in the Midwest for a week or two.
Okay, yeah. So she's totally isolated from the rest of the world. So now cornfields and stuff. So now we're going to show the trailer for Doctor Strange. So in 3, 2, 1.
I'm really excited.
You think you know how the world works? What if I told you the reality you know is one of many?
This doesn't make any sense.
Not everything does. Not everything has to. Through the mystic arts, we harness energy and shape reality.
Oh my God!
We travel great distances in an instant.
How do I get from here to there?
How did you become a doctor?
Study and practice, years of it. There's a strength to him, but is he ready? Be careful which path you travel down, Strange. Stronger men than you have lost their way.
An Asian guy! Oh my God!
I am death. In pain. You'll die protecting this world.
Oh, he's got his accent.
I can't do this. There is no other way.
I've spent so many years peering through time.
Oh my God!
For you.
Child, don't get me started. Woo!
Not yet.
What's this, my mantra? It's the Wi-Fi password. You're not savage.
See? Marvel. Rachel McAdams, nice to see you.
Yeah, hopefully she'll do something a little bit different than what she usually does, but
The rom-com
like
type
thing,
type gal.
Yeah, so hopefully
she's actually really good.
Yeah, as
But I think they just don't give her enough
to do.
Yeah, but okay,
Okay.
I think they're just gonna do magic. Like they're just gonna be like, it's magic. It's not scientifically explainable.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't hope that Marvel finally doesn't like.
Just let it. Just let us have magic.
Don't, because they kind of pissed me off when they did it with Thor, where they said, "Oh, it's what you thought was magic, and some people think
something
it's science."
About the atom.
It's about science and magic and how in our world is the same. I'm like, okay, and like making them almost like aliens. No, they're godlings.
So
they do magic, so they can't get.
Let us have it. We want magic. What the hell? We don't need to have everything explained.
Yeah, just like set the
fact.
fact.
Are just magic.
They said, okay, yeah, they manipulate energy, and it's basically magic things that you can't explain. It's magic. It is what it is. So embrace it. Mm-hmm. So the look.
I love the look and feel of it. I will say they're probably going to get a lot of shit for
For what?
For Inception.
Yeah,
I think they're going to probably get a lot of the buildings
from the first one. Yeah, people were saying making comparisons.
No, but the first one was kind of like but now you really see all that shit folding and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but still, it's true to the story of what it is. But it does seem to draw from the effects of Inception.
From what we've seen so far, but I'm hoping that they don't do solely.
They have an Asian person.
Well, they have to. It's Wong. They changed Wong's character.
Hold on. No, they didn't have to because they got Tilda Swinton. Remember?
No, but they had Wong there because Wong was. At least they changed how Wong is depicted because he was always kind of like his manservant.
They got Benicio del Toro.
No, Benicio's already got another role. He's actually more significant. So, but they've changed him to being, instead of just being his manservant, they said no, he's actually a student of the mystic arts, also in a sense like a warrior in his own right. And I think they've changed that even in the comics. But traditionally from the early days, he was always kind of like his little butler of sorts.
Right.
So they said, okay, that's too much of a stereotype. You need to get away with that.
That looks good. Oh my gosh. And I will say this, as far as Doctor Strange comics, I am not like 100% familiar with it.
Right.
I've probably read just a handful of them
Sure.
growing up, and I haven't read any recent ones. So I'm not too. It's still a very new world for me.
Sure.
It's still part of the Marvel's universe, but it's still very new to me. So so for me, this is still like a new movie.
Sure. Now, for me, I knew Doctor Strange more so from the original Defenders comic, which was Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, the Hulk, and Submariner.
Mm-hmm.
So I was introduced to him that way. And with me, the way I used to buy comics back in the day, I wouldn't sometimes exclusively buy a certain title. So I actually bought Doctor Strange. There was a series of stories where he actually there was a storyline where he actually decided he was going to wipe out all the vampires on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So he partnered up with other sort of supernatural-based people like Blade, Hannibal King, who actually was...
Obviously Blade.
Yeah, but they had Hannibal King, who was, I think Ryan Reynolds played in the third Blade movie. But it made him where he was... The way it was in the movie is that he was once a vampire and he got cured. In the comics, he was always a vampire, but his difference is that he never fed on human blood. So they said, okay, we'll just save him, screw the rest of them, so we'll just wipe the rest of them out. So, and Blade was, again, not as superpowered as he was in the movies. Right. The movie actually made him
a lot stronger.
Much stronger, and of course, afterwards, the comics said, okay, let's follow this pathway. But I only knew him a little bit, so I was never like a big fan of his, only in the context of, again, the Defenders comics where he was partnered up with other people.
I wonder what's the running time for this movie. I hope they give it like a good running time because it's setting something up.
Yeah.
So I would be happy with like a 2 hour, maybe 2.
I'd say maybe just shy of 2 hours.
Because it looks like we have to follow him from the beginning to his accident. To the training, to like becoming, and then we have to kind of like leave it there.
Yeah, and again,
so for further adventures.
Yeah, and I mean they've kind of hinted.
2 hours.
They've hinted a little bit at
who's directing this again?
I don't know. I don't know who's directing this one. Probably to do some research on it, but I know that they've hinted a little bit at mysticism because, or at least a dimensional thing, like in Ant-Man when he would go and shrunk and he went to the sort of microverse of sorts. Right. So they're saying that, okay, a little bit of that touches upon Doctor Strange. And as a matter of fact, if you remember, they name-dropped Stephen Strange in Captain America's Winter Soldier, the first one. The second is...
I don't remember that, but yeah.
I do remember they dropped him. I said, oh, okay. So I knew they were definitely going to be doing something eventually. But when they name-dropped him, I'm wondering what the timeline was. He already the Sorcerer Supreme at that point? Or I don't see why he would be considered a danger necessarily for him just being a surgeon. Because he was like a very accomplished surgeon, bit of an asshole, but nothing dangerous.
Yeah, but we do also have other characters that time travel. We don't know we don't know what else they're going to tie in. Obviously, we know that they're owned by different companies, but we know that Cable time travels. Right. And I know that he's not the same. They're different companies, but you never know. Like you never know what they're working out behind the scenes, and maybe they're going to somehow. Maybe
it overlaps at some point.
Yeah, maybe something it overlaps. Yeah.
Sure. So
that's the only thing that would be my reason to think that way. But,
sure.
Yeah.
But overall, again, I was going to see this thing anyway. They've not.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they'll do something.
I'm going to see all of these anyway.
I mean, I do hope
even Zack Snyder.
I do hope that at least with the effects, it's not so heavily Inception-like because I want to say, okay, I've seen it Inception. I've seen
then they
Inception.
have to just drop that.
Or they do something else because I think we see some of the effects that are not Inception-like, especially with that had that little whip that he was using, or even with that transport, that little.
Yeah, but that whole.
Yeah, that was like. So I'm hoping that they show him flying because that's supposed to give him the ability to fly. Right. So hopefully they'll show that a little bit.
I think I saw him like hover. Like, wasn't he like hovering, kind of like a Magneto hover? I thought I saw him do that.
Well, we saw other people like jumping around and stuff, but
okay.
So, but hey, we'll see.
All right.
But that's our opinions.
Really excited about this.
Okay, so we'll catch you guys for the next one. Bye.